Good evening, everybody. Will Wiggleman here with you on the PHP Network. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. It is Game 7 of 7 of this road trip for the Port Huron Prowlers and Game 3 of 3 here in Winston-Salem. Last night, Prowlers falling in overtime, getting that much closer to defeating the Thunderbirds after falling in regulation 2 nights ago. And they'll look to wrap up the road trip with a win. They are currently 3-2-1 on it. We'll have more for you on the pregame show coming up in just a few minutes. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
Come fill McMorran Place at every Prowlers home game this season. General admission tickets are just $15 with discounts available for seniors, military, students, and children under 12. Upgrade your experience in one of our suites, or bring the whole squad to the game with discounts for groups of 10 or more. Find your best option to visit the Thumb Coast professional hockey team by visiting phprowlers.com and find the tickets tab, or call the box office at 810-985-6166. Secure your seats today.
Back here at the Annex, we're just minutes away from puck drop between the Prowlers and the Carolina Thunderbirds for an afternoon matinee on this Sunday, December the 3rd. Let's take a look back at last night's game. It was a great game, one of the best games of the season as far as back and forth hockey. Had a bit of a playoff atmosphere with the physicality and a little nastiness going back and forth. Both teams were in it the whole way, and the Prowlers got the game-tying goal from Davide Gaeta with 29 seconds to go, but it wasn't to be as Jacob Schnapp scored the overtime winner to go along with his assist. He was the first star of the game. Peter Panacek had a pair of helpers as well for Carolina. Matthias Tellstrom did score his first goal of the season for the Port Huron Prowlers, his first one in a Prowlers uniform. And Tucker Tynan, who is currently being given credit for 45 saves, he actually made 52, but he was only given credit for 45 of them as on the league website. But he was in net for all 55 of the Carolina Thunderbirds shots, and he stopped 52 of them, but unfortunately for him, unable to pick up his second victory of the season. And we'll get to him a little bit later on, talk a little more about his great stats this year so far. But first, let's look at the standings in the Continental Division. Carolina does lose some ground on Columbus as the Thunderbirds only pick up 2 points. The Dragons got all 3 in Blue Ridge last night. So Columbus with a 3-point lead now on top of the Continental Division. The Mississippi Seawolves got a victory last night as well, so they now have a 5-point cushion on the Prowlers for third place in the division, and they're looking up at the Thunderbirds, although both the Prowlers and the Thunderbirds have 2 games in hand on the Mississippi Seawolves right now. They also have games in hand on the Bobcats and the Baton Rouge Zydeco, who sit far outside of playoff contention right now. We'll take a look back at Jacob Schnapp last night. 8 shots on net, goal and the assist. And the goal, of course, the overtime winner. He was stopped on a partial breakaway earlier in overtime by Tynan via the poke check. He got his second partial breakaway and made no mistake for his third goal of the year and his first game-winning goal of the season. For the Prowlers, Tynan has made 133 saves officially this season. Of course, that doesn't include the few he was shorted last night. The .254 goals against average and a .930 save percentage are good for the best amongst Prowlers goaltenders this year, but just a 1-2-1 record. A little bit of bad luck for Tucker Tynan, but he stopped, again, 52 shots last night. The Prowlers gave up a season-high 55 to the Thunderbirds. And unfortunately for Port Huron and Tynan, again, just unable to come away with the victory. He's played plenty of close games. in goal for Port Huron. As the fans are getting loud here at the annex, take a look at the Prowlers lineup tonight. And they will be without Tucker Scantleberry, who was suspended 2 games for his cross-check on Dawson Baker last night. That earned him a match penalty, and he was thrown out of the game. That gave the Thunderbirds the 7-minute power play, which they scored once on. So with Scantleberry out, Prowlers will be playing 1 skater short. So they go back to having the regular 10 forwards, but still just the 5 defensemen. They do switch up the lines a little bit, of course, in Scantleberry's absence, as Matthias Tellstrom joins Tristan Sim and Brandon Picard on that line, while their winger last night, Vinny DeCumbus, will slide in with Sam Merritt, and Matt Graham moves over to the wing. Evan Foley, Dan Chartrand, and Dalton Jay, your other forward line for the Prowlers, and Davide Gaeta, who had the tying goal last night with 29 seconds to go in the third, is your extra forward. Same 5 defensemen as the Prowlers have had on this whole weekend. Frank Schumacher and Dalton Young, Brian Parsons, Alex Johnson, who was thrown out of the game at the end of the second period last night. He received a game misconduct, but fortunately for the Prowlers, he did not get any supplemental discipline, so he will be available and in the lineup tonight. Ian Wallace will be back in the lineup for the Prowlers tonight, making his first start since November the 10th in Motor City. And that is your lineup for the Prowlers. And we'll give you the starters as well, sponsored by Orthopedic Associates. The only changes in the starting lineup are on right wing and in net, as Dan Chartrand, Evan Foley, and now Dalton Jay will be the starting forward line. Jay replacing Matt Graham, who started the game last night. Same defense pair in Frank Schumacher and Dalton Young. And then Ian Wallace between the pipes for the Port Huron Prowlers tonight. They're just finishing up the starting lineup for the Carolina Thunderbirds, who will have a different goaltender tonight than they had the last 2 nights. We'll get to that when we show you the goaltending matchup following the national anthem, but right now we'll take it down to ice level for the rest of the pregame ceremonies. And another great rendition of the national anthem tonight this afternoon at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex. And before we drop the puck, let's take a look at the starting goaltenders tonight. We already mentioned Ian Wallace making his first start since November the 10th, coming in at 1-2-1 with a .475 goals against average and an .871 save percentage. Frankie McClendon back in Carolina, where he won the 2019 Commissioner's Cup. The journeyman backup goaltender has an .864 save percentage and a .405 goals against average and a 1-1 record. Both of those starts, though, coming with the Danbury hat tricks. This is his first appearance back in a Thunderbirds uniform. Evan Foley and Gus Ford set for the opening puck drop, and we are underway. Foley works it up to Dalton J. Now Baker fires it across. Here's Joe Kennedy, who has been sent to the showers early in each of the last 2 games this weekend after he picked up the boarding penalty on Alex Johnson that resulted in a game misconduct, and then the fight last night against the same guy, Alex Johnson, and both of them got game misconducts after that. So we'll see if Kennedy can play a full 60 minutes tonight. He's on the bench as the Thunderbirds make their first change off the icing. Salak with a quick shot off the draw, goes right through the crease. Jay off the wall, gets it out. There's Farmer. Up towards Pastuca. Pastuca has a goal in both games this weekend. Farmer chasing after it. Merritt, fresh off the bench, puts the body into him. And Chartrand does the same on Clay Keeley below the goal line. Rimmed up the wall. Parsons trying to keep it in. Goes across to the other side. Here's Clay Keeley. Gets the red line, rims it around. DeCumbus has it on the wall, controlling it, and got it through Salak. And now Nate Keeley off the bench. Feeds it over to Bioni. Tried the return feed, ends up coming all the way to Wallace. And he'll cover up for a whistle and a face-off. 1.5 minutes gone in the first period. Alex Johnson back out there for the Prowlers for his first shift tonight. He was, as I mentioned, given a game misconduct last night and spent the third period watching with 4 defensemen available for the Prowlers. Chris Paulin said last night in the post-game interview that Matt Graham even took a shift at defense just to give his team a couple extra seconds to breathe. Prowlers just trying to work through the injuries they have on the back end. Adam Heinzel still on the IR as Schnapp puts it out in front, and Picard able to tie up Nate Keeley, whose stick actually broke. The Prowlers have Heinzel on the IR. Austin Federley, who usually steps in on defense when they need one, is also unavailable this weekend as he was hurt against Mississippi in that last game. Schumacher knocks it down at center. Tellstrom has to wait for Picard to get out, and now the Prowlers work in. Tellstrom couldn't get it deep. They dig away on the boards, and Picard works it back to Young. Foley couldn't handle that puck, so Firth controls behind his own net and directs traffic. Carolina completing a change. Early shots favoring the Thunderbirds 2-0. No score yet here from the Annex in Game 3 of 3 this weekend. Kennedy walks in. Was tied up as he tried to take the shot. Baker Cycles it deep to Dumas. Now out high, Firth. Wrists it on net, saved by Wallace, and the rebound just popped past Dumas. Firth again, curling. Now Young able to find it. Works it up to Dalton J. He goes off the boards and out. Davide Gaeta, who tied the game last night with 29 seconds to go, to give the Prowlers a point. Merritt takes it right off of Gus Ford's stick, and then Kennedy came back in. Puck loose in the Prowlers' end. Finally, Kennedy recovers. Now Young up to Matt Graham. Up the boards and out. Goes softly to Thunderbird territory. Prowlers able to complete a change. We expect a little more sloppiness in this game as compared to the last two. Teams surely tired. Both teams dressing the same skaters as they have each of the last two nights, save for Tucker Scantleberry for the Prowlers, who's suspended, but everybody else is the same. As Graham stepped into Salak. Keeley from the outside had it blocked. Pastuca, his shot may have gone off a body and gone wide. Farmer trying to push through deck. Puck held up on the wall. Plenty of players digging after it. Pastuca played it off the back of the goal. Pops out in front. Graham knocked down. Puck comes over to Panacek. Walks in all the way around the net. Panacek in front. Couldn't find a friendly stick. And Pastuca recovers at center. Quick up to Panacek at the Prowler blue line. His shot off a stick and wide. Parsons tried to poke it through as Schumacher made the pass over. A little bit of a dangerous play there. And then Panacek's centering feed ends up going back to center. Carolina with the good jump early on. They're back for more. Batita's shot knocked down by Wallace, and he'll dive out for a whistle and a face-off. All Carolina to start this one. Still no score, though, from the Annex. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the PHP Network.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people.
They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
Come fill McMorran Place at every Prowlers home game this season. General admission tickets are just $15 with discounts available for seniors, military, students, and children under 12. Upgrade your experience in one of our suites, or bring the whole squad to the game with discounts for groups of 10 or more. Find your best option to visit the Thumbcoats professional hockey team by visiting phprowlers.com and find the tickets tab, or call the box office at 810-985-6166. Secure your seats today.
Back here at the Annex, 14:20 to go in the opening period. Still no score, but the shots favoring Carolina 5-0 in the early going. Defensive zone faceoff coming for the Prowlers. Nate Keeley able to win it back. Bioni through traffic. That one deflected and goes wide. Bioni steps in. Now to the top, Keeley. Wrists it through, tipped again, and couldn't find the target again. Bioni hit Evan Foley this time with the shot. Jay able to skate it out, finds Chartrand. Now it's Felder wristing it out. Prowlers will get a regroup. Chartrand chips it in. Felder took a hit from Jay. Foley takes the puck. Curls back, feeds the point. Schumacher whiffed on the pass. He'll get it back to Foley. On for Jay. Trying to cycle it deep, but Bioni cut it off. Pass to Butita was in his skates. Prowlers keeping on the attack. But they can't get to the cage. Schumacher back at center. Off the boards. Finds Chartrand, who dumps it around and sidesteps a hit from Schnapp before heading to the bench. Alex Johnson, quick up to Merritt, tried to tap it along. Butita took it away and dumps it into Prowler ice. 7 minutes gone in the opening period. Prowlers still searching for their first shot. Johnson taken into the wall. Salog into the slot. Ford took the shot, and Wallace accidentally kicked the net off, and the fans here want Ian Wallace to get a penalty for that, but they won't get one. And as they fix the net, Wallace getting a talking to from referee William Lyons. The other referee is Kenny Moniz. The linesmen are Lucas Rieger and Anders Gustafsson. Prowlers switching up the forward unit ahead of this defensive zone face-off. They'll send Tristan Sim to draw with Gus Ford. Comes to the boards where Johnson was waiting. Tellstrom chips it out. Kennedy couldn't handle it, so he and Picard have to chase after. Rimmed around to Firth. Now Dumas stuck up against the boards. Picard gets it back deep. Firth gets away from Tellstrom. Now Deck at the point, wristed it through. That hit a body and went wide. Deck steps in front of that pass. Tellstrom fires it cross ice where Firth and Sim come together. Dumas out towards Baker. Now Ford had to wait for Baker to get out of the offensive zone. Now Kennedy curling away from one Prowler, runs into Merritt. They gave the puck up to Ford. Now Kennedy has it again. He'll try the other side. Kennedy couldn't make the move as Parsons put the body on him. And Wallace covers up the puck. And we'll get a whistle and a face-off. 11:28 to go in the opening period. Played over 8.5 minutes. Prowlers still have yet to test Frankie McClendon, who is making his first start this season as a Thunderbird. 2 starts as a hat trick already for McClendon this year. This is his second stint with Carolina, as he won the Commissioner's Cup with the Thunderbirds in 2019. Won it with Danbury last year. Pastuca trying to turn back into offensive territory. Now Clay Keeley gets in over to Panacek, looking for the pass across out of the reach of Pastuca. Now Young grabs the puck. A high stick is the signal. I didn't see the penalty. Well, it looks like the Prowlers will be heading to the True Balance penalty kill. And Sam Merritt is the one going to the box. So the PK going to be tested early tonight. It was tested often last night, and for the most part successful. They did give up just 1 goal on the 7 straight minutes of power play time in the second that Carolina had. It was to the man with the puck right now, Pastuca. Now Panacek. Below the goal line, Ford. Out towards Baker. Couldn't get the one-timer off clean. Ford again to the backhand. Slips through and wide as Wallace got just enough. 30 seconds gone in the penalty to Sam Merritt. Johnson able to whack it out of his own zone. Here's Chartrand working on Salak. He'll get a shot. That's blocked away by McClendon and fly over the glass out of play. That's the first shot on net for the Prowlers in this game. It comes short-handed, and it does set up an offensive zone face-off for Port Huron. Graham and Butita in the face-off circle. Graham able to win it back. Deck at the point. D to Parsons. Tried to wrist it through. Blocked by Schnapp. Parsons has it again. He'll just chip it back into Thunderbird ice. We're already halfway through the opening period, and now we're halfway through Sam Merritt's penalty as Firth rims it around. Deck and Clay Keeley come together. To his side scrum in the corner. Butita watching. Now Butita up to Dumas. Over to Firth. Right back to Dumas. Wrist shot goes wide. Keeley. Watched by Parsons. Finds Butita in the slot. Loads and fires a kick save by Wallace. Schnapp to the net. And Wallace got the goal stick down. Thunderbirds keep the pressure on. Butita over to Keeley. Back to Butita. Thunderbirds captain feeds it over to Dumas. Schnapp right in front of Ian Wallace. Now Firth. Final seconds ticking off the power play. That pass taken away and sent down the ice. A successful penalty kill for Port Huron. Long lead pass by McClendon was cut off by Schumacher, but he skated back into offensive territory before Merritt came out, so that's offsides, and we'll take a break. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the PHP Network. .847 to go, opening period. The Prowlers and Thunderbirds still scoreless. But a successful penalty kill for Port Huron just wrapped up. And after the offsides, they'll have a face-off just outside of the Thunderbird zone. Young able to dump it in. Farmer and Jay get there together. Foley up to the point. Schumacher tried to wrist it through. It was blocked. Chartrand over to Schumacher. His shot was cut off by Salak. He'll skate it out. Had his pocket picked by Chartrand, and Jay dumps it back deep. Kennedy watched by Jay. Now Farmer took a hit from Schumacher as he dumped the puck. Foley rims it around. Farmer. His shot deflected away by Frank Schumacher. And Chartrand plays it off the boards, but ends up going into the Prowler bench out of play. .751 to go in the Munger Physical Therapy first period. Prowlers will have another defensive zone face-off. They send out Sam Merritt's line with Matt Graham on the wing. A little bit of a different look today. Graham, typically one of the Prowlers centers. Now Tristan Sim is a center for this game. As Wallace made the first save, and while he was sliding across to make the second, the net came back off. And the fans here at the Annex booing still, as they want a penalty against Ian Wallace. Of course, as I've mentioned, this was a problem opening weekend at McMorran Place, but the crew there has fixed it, and it hasn't been an issue since then. But it is an issue in some of these buildings around the FPHL. Of course, not intentional by Ian Wallace to take that net off. He's just a goaltender that pushes hard side to side, relies on his athleticism a lot to make saves, and sometimes the posts aren't strong enough. Here's Johnson getting it out. Bioni. Dumas tips it in. Wallace out to play it, rims it up towards DeCumbus, bounced off him towards the middle of the ice. Now Ford with it. Ford to the backhand, kicked out by Wallace. Rebound sat there next to the post. Now Bioni one-times it, scooped up by Ian Wallace. So we'll have a face-off to Wallace's right. And both teams making some changes. Check line comes back out for Carolina. Panacek will draw with Sim. And the face-off comes right to Picard. Hassled by Salak, who takes the puck. Prowler's able to work it back in, though, as Tellstrom rims it around. Comes to the point, Schumacher winds, fires. That hit a body in front. Tellstrom able to one-hand it up the wall. Sim looking to get it deep again. Now Picard up to the point. Deck shot. Hit a stick. Firth up to Panacek. Pastuca, one touches it back to Panacek. Now Joe Kennedy leaving it for Panacek. Tied up nicely by Brandon Picard on the back check. Great play by Picard to keep Panacek from getting a grade A opportunity. Pastuca looking up. His pass was deflected away. He'll go off for a change. Deck looking for Chartrand. Cut off by Schnapp. Now Schnapp with the lane to the net. Takes the shot. The shoulder save by Wallace. And the net comes off once again. I don't even think Wallace really pushed off of it that time. That's what he's saying to the referee. He went right over to the referee to let him know that he didn't do anything that time. The fans continue to boo here at the Annex. Jacob Schnapp having an animated conversation at center ice with referee William Lyons. Now we're back ready to drop the puck. Goes off the back glass. Deck flips it as far as Clay Keeley at the line. And that one flies over top off a stick out of play, and the faceoff will stay inside. 5:39 to go in the opening period. Shots right now favoring Carolina 11-2. Foley and Nate Keeley slide in for the faceoff. Young around the net, up towards Chartrand. Took a hit from Butita. Now Foley over to Parsons. Off the wall, Jay finds it. He's forced back in his own end. Young trying to get it out. Couldn't do it. Here's Parsons pulling up on Schnapp. Chartrand off the wall. Farmer takes it back. Farmer over to Butita. Out high Clay Keeley to his brother Nate. And the glove saved by Wallace on the one-timer. Under 5 to play in the Munger Physical Therapy opening period. No score yet. We'll take a timeout. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the PHP Network.
Mac and cheese is up.
Mac and cheese pizza? Mac and cheese pizza.
That's right, the new mac and cheese pizza from Hungry Howie's. Mac and cheese, mozzarella, panko breadcrumbs, and our famous flavored crust. Only for a limited time.
Hungry
Howie's! Will Wiggleman back with you on the PHP Network here in Winston-Salem. No score between the Prowlers and the Thunderbirds with 4:59 to go in the opening period. And Sam Merritt's being kicked off this face-off. Luckily, he has another center on the line in Matt Graham who can take it. And Graham digs it out, finds Gaeta. Farmer fed it out. Alex Johnson, lead pass looking for Merritt, who touches it in. He and Farmer go after it. Gaeta to Graham, has some space, looking for a pass in front, and Schumacher stoned by Frankie McClendon. Johnson with a drive that caught a stick and went wide. Ford around. Forced back. Farmer watched by Gaeta. Up to Dumas. Now Gaeta off the turnover. His shot flies over top of the cage. Clay Keeley almost gave that puck away, but he's able to get it to Baker. Now Gaeta back in. And a penalty is coming up. Wallace was going to the bench. Cross-checking is the signal. And it looks like the Prowlers will be going to their first quality power play of the night. It is Gus Ford to the box. And the fans here at the Annex not exactly liking that call. Alex Johnson, Jacob Schnapp are renewing pleasantries before this face-off. The Prowlers get the man advantage unit out. They were 0 for last night. Picard gets it down to Chartrand. Now Picard again. Over to Johnson. Tellstrom had to roll off his stick. Gaeta gets it back to Johnson. Over to Picard. Wrist shot that went wide. Gaeta picks it up off the wall. Chartrand behind the net. Out to Picard on the wall. Johnson walks, feeds to Tellstrom. Johnson. Chartrand parked in front. Picard over to Gaeta. Now Johnson. Wrist shot. Blocked it away by McClendon, out of play. Minute 17 to go in the power play for the Prowlers. Now Chartrand and Schnapp getting together. And it looks like they will both get offsetting coincidental penalties. Dan Chartrand and Jacob Schnapp continue to bark. Oh, more barking from Schnapp. And Chartrand giving him the cold shoulder in the penalty box. We'll stay 5-on-4. Prowlers with 2 shots on this power play already in the first 43 seconds. Bodies flying in the corner. Everyone back to their feet. Puck still there. 3 Prowlers digging away against 2 Thunderbirds. And Graham able to come out with it. Looking for the backdoor feed. It was taken away by Butita. Working one-on-one against DeCumbus. And Butita pulls up. Graham took that cycle pass away. Here comes Dalton Jay. Up to DeCumbus. Jay sends it deep. Clay Keeley with the rim all the way around. Took a hop off the stanchion and stayed in the zone, at least momentarily. Keeley looking for the breakout pass. Here's Panacek short-handed. Back in. Big save by Ian Wallace stretching out. Gaeta the other direction to Foley. Tried to wrist it back towards Gaeta. 15 seconds left to go on the Prowlers power play. Foley out high to Picard. Johnson down to Tellstrom. Back to Johnson. Picard with the power play expiring. He scores! 2 seconds on the power play. Brandon Picard picks the corner and puts Port Huron on the board first. And after seeing his 10-game point streak snapped last night, Picard has his team high 8th of the year. That one will go down as a power play goal, and Port Huron makes good on the man advantage. And now they'll kick Gus Ford out of this face-off. Baker takes it and wins it. DeCumbus trying to work up. Knocked down. Graham towards Merritt. Couldn't get that stick on puck. Sauced across to Deck. Gets it deep. 90 seconds to go in the period. Here's DeCumbus. Cycling it to Graham. Out high Deck. Cross to Schumacher. Wrists it through. Blockered away by McClendon. It stays deep. Kennedy around towards Firth. Flips it out. Got through Deck. Schumacher backing him up. Able to get it up the wall. Gaeta and Bioni chasing after it. They wave off the icing as we're under a minute to play in the opening period. Bioni up to Ford. Poked off his stick neatly by Parsons. Pastuca chases back in his own end with 40. Pass cut off by Jay, but sent into the Thunderbird bench. 36.9 seconds left in the opening period. And we'll get a face-off just outside of Carolina territory. Foley and Panacek will take the draw. Foley wins it back. Young chips it in. Half a minute to go in the opening period. Foley rims it back around to the far side. Felder and Chartrand get there together. Puck goes all the way down to Prowler ice. 15 seconds to go. Parsons just waiting it out with 10. And it looks like we're going to end the period with Brian Parsons holding the puck behind the net as time expires. And after 20 minutes of play, the Port Huron Prowlers, on the strength of Brandon Picard's power play goal, have a 1-0 lead over the Carolina Thunderbirds. Shots on goal in that period, though, favoring Carolina 13-7. But it is the Prowlers on the board first tonight in Winston-Salem. Stay tuned for the first intermission report here on the PHP Network. We're going to take a look back at last December when Dalton J had a December to remember. He was named the FPHL's Player of the Month for the month of December last year. And we will go back and look at the highlights from that December for Dalton J. We'll also take a look at the storylines around the FPHL. There's a couple of doozies. You'll want to be here as we break it all down coming up in the first intermission report here on the PHP Network. Well, once again, the Prowlers with a 1-0 lead on the Carolina Thunderbirds. We'll get your holiday shopping finished at the Port Huron Prowlers team store. The store features shirts, hats, decorations, and more with new sweatshirts coming in soon. Come find us on the west end of McMorran Arena at every home game or online anytime at prowlersmerch.com, and you can scan the QR code on your screen now to visit the online shop. Look your po best with gear from the Prowlers team store. Another reminder that I have to get my Christmas shopping going. Maybe I'll go to the team store on Friday when the Prowlers are home again, or maybe I'll check it out online. You can scan that QR code on your screen now to check out prowlersmerch.com and get all your Port Huron Prowlers gear. Coming up, Dalton J's December to Remember and the intermission report right here on the PHP Network.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
Mac and cheese is up.
Mac and cheese pizza? Mac and cheese pizza.
That's right, the new mac and cheese pizza from Hungry Howie's. Mac and cheese, mozzarella, panko breadcrumbs, and our famous flavored crust. Only for a limited time.
Hungry
Howie's!
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
No, they're seriously not even that much better than you.
Should've just got a ticket from phprowlers.com.
I should have just bought tickets at phprowlers.com.
I got it!
I should have just got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
I should have got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
They should have just got tickets
at phprowlers.com.
Head up around the net to the point. Kennedy, quick shot, blocked by Freeborn. Here's Jay streaking up. Here's Dalton Jay with a step. He scores! Well, eventually one of those long plays is going to work, and finally Dalton Jay able to beat Babick with a step, and the Prowlers have the lead. It's 5-4. Drops it off, Finelli goes to the backhand. He hit the post. Puck bounced past Rogers looking for the rebound. Now Freeborn has Dalton Jay all by himself. He scores! Here come the Teddy Bears. Dalton Jay on the breakaway, and the Prowlers are on the board. Jay rims it around towards Graham. Freeborn in there as well. 3 Seawolves down low, and that left Dalton Jay wide open, and he cashes in. 3 Seawolves went to Matt Graham with the puck. He slipped it through all of them, and Dalton Jay makes no mistake. Prowlers have the lead back. He takes the face-off against the Seawolves captain Justin Barr, and he wins it, but it got through Alex Johnson. He's just able to keep it in at the line. So here's Jay with a wrist shot. He scores! Power play goal, Dalton Jay. We're tied at 3. As a bit of a yard sale over there from Sam Williams. And now here's Dalton Jay with a step. Jay shoots, saved by McBurry. The rebound, he scores! Dalton Jay follows up his own shot. Prowlers on the board first with 14:42 to go in the first. To go in the first period. Graham tried to feed it in front towards Jay. Elmira with that collapsing defense now comes over to Jay. He scores! Dalton Jay with a quick wrister gets through Shipman, and the Prowlers restore the 3-goal lead.
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
They're seriously not even that much better than you.
Should've just got a ticket from phprowlers.com.
I should have just bought tickets at phprowlers.com.
I got it!
I should've just got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
I should have got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
They should have just got tickets
at phprowlers.com. Back here at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex, we are 20 minutes down between the Prowlers and the Thunderbirds, and it's Port Huron with a 1-0 lead on the strength of Brandon Picard's power play goal. Will Wiggleman back with you on the PHP Network. Thanks so much for joining us this afternoon for the first 3-3 of the year for the Prowlers. And before we take a look back at that first period, let's take a look at what's going on around the FPHL today. Just one other game on the schedule, and it will begin at 7:05 p.m. as the Motor City Rockers visit the Watertown Wolves. Rockers will be without Declan Conway for that game, which I will get to in a moment. They will also be without Danny Vanderweel after he suffered an injury on a hit last night in Danbury, which I will also get to in a moment as we get to our FPHL storylines. Conway will be suspended for 2 games after his actions last night with gestures made towards the crowd, according to Director of Player Safety Dave Jackson. He said, "I'm not really sure why Mr. Conway felt the need to embarrass himself, his teammates, and the league, but flipping the double bird and pointing to his groin has earned Mr. Conway a 2-game suspension. No matter what verbal abuse comes from the crowd, this type of behavior is never acceptable, especially with children in attendance." That is from Director of Player Safety Dave Jackson. So Conway gets a 2-game suspension for that, and that means he'll won't only be suspended tonight, but he'll also be suspended for the first game of the Prowlers and Rockers series coming up this Friday and Saturday, so he will not play in the game at McMorran Place. He will, though, be available to play at Big Boy Arena on Saturday night in the second game of that series, as will Tucker Scantleberry, who is suspended 2 games for his cross-check last night. But he will be suspended tonight and Friday, and both Conway and Scantleberry will be available for the second showdown between the Prowlers and Rockers next weekend in Motor City. And now the big one. Daniel Amesbury gets 18 games as a repeat offender. That's the important part. Repeat offender was stressed in the explanation from Director of Player Safety Dave Jackson, but Amesbury put a hit on the Rockers captain Danny Vanderweel, and Vanderweel ended up leaving the game on a stretcher. And according to the explanation from Dave Jackson, he said that the player had released the puck and the elapsed time before being a hit is long enough to make him ineligible to be checked. So Vanderweel was ineligible to be checked in the first place. And they go on to say that Mr. Amesbury raises his elbow and forearm and drives his opponent into the glass, drives his opponent's head into the glass. The referees correctly assess a match penalty for deliberate injury. Because of Mr. Amesbury's status as a repeat offender, which is a 12-month history that the league looks back on, any suspensions he receives automatically increase exponentially. His last suspension for attempt to injure was for 12 games 11 months ago. This means the suspension automatically starts at 12 games and is increased by 50%, resulting in an 18-game suspension. They do keep the caveat in there that suspensions are subject to appeal to be heard by the Board of Governors. But that is a large reason why it was 18 games, is because of that repeat offender status that Amesbury has, that the league felt that he should be suspended for 18 games. So that means Amesbury will be missing the games between the Hat-Tricks and the Prowlers coming up in a few weeks just before Christmas on December the 22nd and 23rd. And he'll miss a lot more time than that. Another long suspension for Daniel Amesbury, and one of the longest that I've seen in my time covering the FPHL. On the ice and on the score sheet last night in that game, the Rockers did suffer their first regulation loss of the season. They were the last team in the FPHL without a regulation loss on the year, as they fell 5-3 and they dropped to 9-1-3 on the year, still sitting second in the Empire Division with 28 points. Turning our attention back to tonight's game, a 1-0 Prowlers score. The Thunderbirds outshot them 13-7 in that opening period. Prowlers did get the one power play goal, 1-for-1 on the man advantage. And Carolina 0-for-1 on the power play in that opening period. Both teams got 4 penalty minutes because of Chartrand and Schnapp's coincidental minors. And that's your game stats for the opening period. And before we drop the puck on the second, it's time for the PHP Network trivia question. Before this weekend, when was the last time the Prowlers played a 3-3 where they were the designated road team in all 3 games? And that's an important part of the question. The designated road team. Not 3 games played away from McMorran Place. Which ones were they? The designated road team. And if you remember last season, and you're thinking of the 3-3 that I think you might be thinking of from last year, you'll know why that's an important part of the question. Put your answer in the comments section. We'll see if you get it right. We'll give you the answer at the start of the third period. Ian Wallace getting set in the goal crease to our right. 13 saves, on 13 Thunderbird shots. While Frankie McClendon getting set in the goal crease to our left. 6 saves on 7 Prowler shots in that opening period. So we are just about set to go for the Hungry Howie's second period here at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex. It's the only game going on in the FPHL right now, so thanks for joining us. If you're just a fan trying to find some hockey. As Evan Foley and Gus Ford get set for the faceoff, and we are underway in period 2 as Young dumps it in right on McClendon. And he'll hang on for a whistle and an early faceoff just 8 seconds in. The draw will be to McClendon's right. Foley and Ford again. Young sent it deep. Kennedy behind the net. Whacked by Foley. Sharktran kept it deep. Here's the Prowlers captain out to Sharktran, and the quick shot right into the breadbasket of Frankie McClendon for a whistle. Both teams will switch up the units before this face-off back at Frankie McClendon's right. Prowlers sending out Sam Merritt's line to go up against the check line for Carolina. Face-off tied up there, and DeCumbus tried to get back to the point, but Johnson couldn't handle it, so it goes all the way back to Prowler territory, where Johnson has it now. Graham finds Parsons streaking up the right wing side. Pulls up, gets it deep. Salak took it from DeCumbus. Moving up with Pastuca. Plenty of Prowlers back. And Johnson pokes it around the other way. Parsons threw the body on Salak. And now Graham gives to Merritt. Enters the offensive zone and dumps it deep. Clay Keeley gets there first. Farmer took a hit from Merritt. Now the Prowlers will finish up a forward change. Farmer out of his own end. Up to Panacek. Poked off his stick though. Schumacher looking for Picard. The pass was out of his reach. Icing waved off. So Felder will have to play it. And he does so off the wall in Schnapp's direction. There's Nate Keeley off the boards. Butito one-on-one with Schumacher. The outside shot steered away by Wallace. Mattias Tellstrom surrounded by red jerseys. Puck came nearly back to him. Nate Keeley bounces off the boards around Young. Here he comes to the backhand. Couldn't get a clean shot off, and they put it right through the crease. Bioni at the point. Tried to wrist it through traffic. Schnapp got a good tip on it. But it comes to the corner. Schumacher. Head up off the far side boards. Felder. Lead pass looking for Ford. Taken away. Bioni has it again. Pass off a skate. Jay gives it back to Young. And now Schumacher. Jay skates out. Has help at the Thunderbirds blue line. His shot stopped by McClendon. The rebound sat there. But Baker able to lift Foley's stick. Now Carolina the other direction. Butito across looking for Kennedy. He couldn't get all of that shot as Dalton Jay was right on him. Foley back in. Prowlers onside. Kennedy plays it off the glass. It flies out of play into the seats. So we'll get a face-off in offensive territory for the Prowlers. 16:39 left to go in the second period. Merritt and Ford take the face-off. Ford wins it back clean. Graham leaves it for DeCumbus, looking for Merritt, flying through. The pass was behind him. Tucker Firth at the red line. Tried to dump it in. I think he hit the linesman. Graham sent it up towards Merritt. Dangerous pass to the middle of the ice. Now Baker looking for Ford. Prowlers cut that pass off. Ford takes the puck, though, takes the shot, and he couldn't find the target. Ford behind the net, in front, looking for Dumas, and Graham had him locked down. Parsons off the boards, gets it down. Icing waved off, so Port Huron will get a change. Ford gets Pastuca flying into the zone. His shot hit Johnson. Picard flying up the left wing side. chips it in, heads after it himself. He and Farmer get there together. Salak digs it out. Salak able to work it back to Farmer. Up towards Pastuca, chips it by Alex Johnson. Pastuca collects it in the corner. In front, looking for Panacek, comes all the way back to Clay Keeley, who backhands it over top of the net. Panacek gets it deep to Pastuca. Salak on the spin move. Johnson takes his stick away, and the puck rolls to Ian Wallace softly. We'll get a whistle and a break. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the PHP Network.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people.
They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
Come fill McMorran Place at every Prowlers home game this season. General admission tickets are just $15 with discounts available for seniors, military, students, and children under 12. Upgrade your experience in one of our suites, or bring the whole squad to the game with discounts for groups of 10 or more. Find your best option to visit the Thumb Coast professional hockey team by visiting phprowlers.com and find the tickets tab, or call the box office at 810-985-6166. Secure your seats today.
Five minutes gone in the Hungry Howie's second period. Prowlers still with the 1-0 lead on the Carolina Thunderbirds as they face a defensive zone face-off. Pastuca right off the draw. Quick save by Wallace. Merritt able to force it back to the corner. Schumacher working over Panacek, who gets himself free. Gets the puck to Salak. Pastuca looking for Panacek on the back door, just out of his reach. And that's the look the Thunderbirds like. Whether it's on the power play or 5-on-5, Peter Panacek flying that back door. They'll try and do it again as Farmer brings it in. His centering feed, though, was cut off. Salak up to the point. Pastuca one-touched it down. Young around to Schumacher. Now Matt Graham sauces it over to the near side. Felder and DeCumbus get there together, and Vane DeCumbus gets it deep and heads off for a change. Bioni hanging out behind his own net. Watched by Foley from the high slot. He gives it over to Felder right back. Lead pass up to Butita. Dropped it to Felder. Chartrand was right there to interrupt. The Prowlers take the puck away. Bioni curling away, but gave up the puck. Foley couldn't center. And now Bioni out the other direction. His shot right up of the stick of Braden Deck and flies out of play. 13:10 to go in period number 2. Still a 1-0 Prowlers lead. Shots in this period an even 3-3. Offensive zone faceoff coming for the Thunderbirds as Sim and Ford get set for it. At the point, it shot through traffic, hit a body. Ford thought about the Michigan. Still on it. Hassled by Parsons. Dumas taken into the wall by Sim. And Baker out to Ford. Has space, but couldn't get the shot away as Picard got his stick in the lane. Sim off the boards to Picard. Now Sim skates into it. Prowlers have a 2-on-1 developing. Sim scores! Tristan Sim beats Frankie McClendon clean to the blocker side, and the Prowlers have a 2-0 lead. Fourth of the year for Tristan Sim. He snaps a 7-game goal drought. He made Matthias Tellstrom made the great play at center to tie up a Thunderbird and let Sim skate into that loose puck. They looked like they were going to go in 2-on-1, and Sim just snapped it by Frankie McClendon. Another great shot from a Prowlers rookie. 2-0 Port Huron. Panacek into offensive territory. Now Clay Keeley with a drive on the ice, goes wide. Pastuca trying to put it back out in front. The net comes off, and it looks like they're going to whistle Ian Wallace this time. And the delay of game penalty, the fans have been ravenous for all weekend long, finally comes. The Prowlers will go back to the penalty kill, straightened up by True Balance Orthopedics. Matt Graham and Chris Paulin chatting with the referees, and I'm sure they're saying something along the lines of, this isn't a problem in our building. Officially, it is Ian Wallace for delay of game. They continue to check on the posts. And finally, the maintenance crew will skate off the ice. Matt Graham, Alex Johnson, and Ian Wallace chatting with one of the referees. But it will be a Carolina power play with the Prowlers leading 2-0. Matt Graham and Gus Ford will slide in for the faceoff. Pastuca gives it to Panacek. Thunderbirds set up. Ford behind the net. Walks out, gives to Baker. Back to Ford. Looking for Salak in the slot. Knocked away by a Prowler stick into center. Baker leaves it for Pastuca. Flying up has Salak and Panacek with him. All the way across it comes to Peter Panacek. Into Ford in the slot. First shot blocked. And it bounces to Wallace, who is laying out, finding it. He'll cover up and get a whistle. Something the Prowlers have done well most of the weekend has been whenever the Thunderbirds try and get those shots from the middle of the ice, sticks in lane, stick on puck, stick on stick. And you saw it again there on one of the FPHL's best players. Merritt finds the loose puck. Only can clear as far as Pastuca at the line. Baker over to Panacek. Back to Pastuca. Baker scores! The one-timer from Dawson Baker gets Carolina on the board. It's a power play goal and cuts the Prowler lead in half. Couple assists last night for Dawson Baker. He picks up his 7th goal of the year. That's the Thunderbirds fans on their feet for the first time tonight. The maintenance crew having to come out and check on that post once again. They continue to check on that net, occupied by Ian Wallace. As you see there on our screen, they have the drill out. And noted ice rink guy Dalton Jay is over there checking on things. Jay, a big reason why the McMorran Place pegs were fixed and are now, I guess, one of the most solid and sturdy in the league, because Prowlers have had no troubles there since opening weekend. Carolina back within one. Still 11:18 to go in the second period. Kennedy feeds it up to Nate Keeley. He'll dump it in. Parsons fed it across to Jay, trying to play keep away from John Batita. Johnson off the glass. There's Kennedy up towards Schnapp, kicked along for Batita. Now on to Keeley. Keeley taken in hard by Parsons. Foley knocked down, but he gets it to Johnson. Parsons looking for that loose puck, so is Batita. They dig away in the corner. Comes out to Jay. He'll just play it softly off the glass and down. Kennedy off the boards. Schnapp bangs it in. Parsons couldn't get it out. Here's Salak trying to work towards the front of the net, but it was taken away and cleared by the Prowlers. McClendon out of his net to play it to Kennedy. Salak forced back to center. Rimmed around by Firth. Panacek and Sim get there together. Now Young comes in to take the puck. And the net looks like it's on from here, but it must be off. They'll figure it out, and we'll take a timeout. 9:51 to go in the second. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network. Two-one our score with 9:51 left to go in the second period. And the face-off coming back to Ian Wallace's right after the net comes off its moorings yet again. The discussions between the Prowlers and the referees continue after that. The fans going after Ian Wallace after every time the net comes off its moorings. And off the face-off comes to Schumacher. Looking for Picard. This time he gets it to Matt Graham. Merritt skates into it on the left wing side. Salak takes it back for Carolina. Salak down to a knee, still controlling that puck. Now Pastuca gave it away to Graham. Finds Picard with a bit of a step. Pastuca dives, and it goes in! Picard put it on net from the goal line. It hit Frankie McClendon. And you talking about a puck that barely crosses the goal line, but it does. Second of the night for Brandon Picard, makes it 3-1. Pastuca did all he could to try and reach out and keep Picard from getting a good shot off. It was a great effort, but as McClendon came diving out, the shot just hit him enough to bounce in. And the Prowlers restore the 2-goal advantage. And the fans here in Winston-Salem chanting, "We want Mario," in reference to Mario Cavalieri. Of course, there is some mixed feelings about Frankie McClendon amongst this fan base. Last year, he was a part of the Danbury Hat Tricks, of course, that defeated these Thunderbirds in the Commissioner's Cup final, what was an emotional and long final series. But he was a former Thunderbird as well, as Wallace has that one in the breadbasket. And now Baker giving some pushing and shoving to Evan Foley. Baker puts Foley on the ice, and Dawson Baker is going to go. He'll go to the penalty box. And good on Evan Foley, who's not a guy who's going to retaliate. And he draws the penalty on Dawson Baker. A bit of a frustration penalty, surely, for Baker, as he was barking at the referee the entire way to the box. The Prowlers will go back to the quality power play for the second time tonight. And with 8:27 to go in the second period, a chance to extend the lead. Prowlers 1 for 1 on the man advantage so far. DeCumbus pulls it out. Merritt gets it deep, and he's dropped by Schnapp. Now Merritt with a shot off of Firth. Jay comes in just to keep it deep. Firth finds it and backhands it the length of the ice. DeCumbus holds it behind his own net. Minute 22 to go in the Prowlers' power play. That pass was caught up in the feet of Ford. Jay coming back, and Ford shot it wide. That would have been a real outright breakaway for Gus Ford if the pass was on his tape. Prowlers a little bit lucky there as Picard works in. Rims it around. Tellstrom. D to Alex Johnson as the Prowlers switch their unit. Gaeta out to Tellstrom again. Johnson at the point. Finds Picard. He couldn't pull the trigger. Tellstrom skates in to keep it alive. There's Chartrand. 7 minutes to go in the period. 30 seconds left on the Prowlers' power play. Gaeta out to Tellstrom. The one-time blast, gloved and held by Mario Cavalieri. Frankie McClendon. They did not put Cavalieri in despite the fans chanting. 23 seconds left on the penalty to Dawson Baker. 2 shots on the power play so far for the Prowlers, 1 for the Thunderbirds, as they do give Gus Ford credit for a shot on goal. I guess Wallace did get a piece of it. As Johnson skates in, looking for Merritt behind the net. Now it's Picard. Out to DeCumbus. Johnson down to Graham. 5 seconds to go on the penalty. DeCumbus gets it down to Picard. Graham behind the net. We're back to 5-on-5. As the play comes to the corner. Graham again over to Picard. Tried it from the sharp angle. Shouldered away by McClendon. Prowlers still working it around at even strength. Here's Merritt. Cycling it to Graham. Tired former penalty killers out there for the Thunderbirds. Where's the puck? It's below the goal line. So everyone was looking up for it. Now Graham finds it, tried to center, nobody home. Graham got it close to the point, but Nate Keeley able to get it out. And Schnapp dumps it deep. So Thunderbirds able to get a change. 5:39 to go in the second period. Johnson flips it to center. Tellstrom spins it to Gaeta, who skates in, working on Panacek. To the point, Parsons, the shot, that's gloved and held by Frankie McClendon. And then Tellstrom is being forcefully sent away from the front of the net by 3 Thunderbirds, led by Jacob Schnapp. The Prowlers get 2 shots on the power play. And then a little more zone time afterward, but still holding that 3-1 lead. Foley and Panacek get set for the faceoff. Comes to the boards. Parsons just keeps it in. Schumacher quick up to Foley off his stick. And Salak gives it back to Bioni. Felder gets the red line, dumps it in. Schumacher taken in by Felder. Salak trying to dig that puck out. Panacek over to Felder at the point. Now Pastuka rims it around. Salak pulls up, leaves it for Pastuka. Couldn't make a move to the net. Now it's poked away by the Prowlers. Chartrand off the boards, couldn't get it out though as Salak gloved it down. Pastuka again. Salak tried the return feed. Felder just kept it in at the line. Thunderbirds keep the attack going as we approach 4 minutes to go in the period. Schumacher puts Panacek into the boards. Now the Prowlers dump it in. Jay and Bioni in together. Chartrand comes in for the puck. Cycling it for Jay. Bioni kicks it along. Panacek gets it over to Felder. Puck goes all the way down. Icing called against the Thunderbirds. And we'll take a timeout. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the PHP Network.
Mac and cheese is up.
Mac and cheese pizza? Mac and cheese pizza.
That's right, the new mac and cheese pizza from Hungry Howie's. Mac and cheese, mozzarella, panko breadcrumbs, and our famous flavored crust. Only for a limited time.
Hungry
Howie's!
Back here at the Annex. Late stages of the Hungry Howie's second period. Prowlers with a 3-1 lead. It's Port Huron's first multi-goal lead of the weekend. They'll try and take it into the third period. 3:39 to go until then. Johnson gets it around. Picard couldn't feed it out in front. Felder up to Pastuca. Lead pass on for Salaki, overskated it. Stops up and dumps it in. Wallace leaves it behind the net. Johnson plays it this side to Picard. Lofted out. Firth able to get it with the glove. Dumas sending Firth in. Sim off the wall. Graham looking to get it out. Stuck in Dumas's skates. Suicide scrums, they dig away. Pops out to Baker. Over to Firth. His shot blocked nicely by Alex Johnson. Wristed back in. Johnson with it. Trying to flip it out. But Baker takes it away. Here's Dumas on the backhand. Finds Ford, who just tipped it wide. Firth just softly dumps it in. Dumas left it there. Deck first on it, though. Deck able to get to the near side boards. But Firth jumps in to keep it alive. Rimmed around to the far side. Tellstrom trying to chop it out. Kennedy kept it in with his hand. And now Baker came flying in to hit Johnson. And the arm is up against Alex Johnson. And Baker hurt on the ice. I'm not sure why Alex Johnson would be getting a penalty on that play. As they went around, Dawson Baker came flying in. I thought Baker's face hit the glass. And high sticking is the signal, it looks like, from the referee. So, it looks like they're going to give him 4. I thought if there was a high stick, I thought it may have been on the follow-through as Johnson was going to send that puck up the boards. But Alex Johnson has been given a 4-minute double minor for high sticking, and the Prowlers' penalty kill will be tested once again. Off the face-off, they tie up. Now Pastuca gets it down to Ford. Out high Pastuca. Panacek back over to Ford. Whips it across. Baker fanned on the shot. And Evan Foley clears the length of the ice and has the referee ducking for cover as he does. Pastuca feeds it around to Salak. Now Ford. Out to Pastuca off his stick. Pastuca has it back, gives it to Baker, who's no force for wear, and he scores. Second power play goal tonight for Dawson Baker as we hit the final minute of play in the second period, and it is a 3-2 game. And Matt Graham chatting with the referee at the box. And I think it's because Baker should not have been out on the ice. The play was stopped because of Dawson Baker being down in the corner, not because the Prowlers touched up. So Baker should not have been able to start that power play on the ice. I think that's what Matt Graham is arguing. But either way, Baker does get the power play goal. 59.2 seconds left in the second period. And the fans chanting at Ian Wallace right now as they fix the posts again ahead of this face-off. Merritt and Baker having a conversation at center ice. As now we are ready to go. Still a 5-on-4 advantage for the Thunderbirds for the next 2 minutes. Prowlers just trying to get to the end of the period. 55 seconds left in it as Young fires it up the wall, but it's blocked by Baker at the point. Down to Ford. Back up to Dawson Baker. Finds Pastuca, walks in, fires off a body and wide. Chartrand gloves it down. He'll backhand it out to center. 33 seconds to go in the second period. Panacek tripped over the blue line, but he's back to his feet. Gives it to Salak, back to Panacek. Ford around the net. Out high, Pastuca walks in, shoots. Good, blocked by Foley. And he's feeling the effects of that one. 10 seconds to go. Pastuca over to Baker. Now Pastuca with 3. One-time blast, blocked by Young. And time expires in the second period. Evan Foley and Dalton Young with some painful blocks there in the final few seconds. But the Prowlers will head to the third period with a 3-2 lead after all of that. Shots on goal in the period at 9-8 for Port Huron, 21-16 in favor of Carolina for the game. And it is a 3-2 Prowlers lead through 40 minutes of play here at the Annex. It's been a heck of a game so far, and you won't want to miss the third period coming up in about 20 minutes from now. You also won't want to miss our intermission report, where we'll chat about what's been going on in tonight's game. We'll take a look at the Prowlers' upcoming schedule. And since some people may have missed it last night, we'll also give you the visuals of the Prowlers' Christmas jerseys this year, which they will wear in about 2 weeks against these same Thunderbirds at home. It's all coming up on the PHP Network Intermission Report. Make sure you secure your seats for the Prowlers' next home game on Friday, December the 8th, as they host their I-94 rivals, the Motor City Rockers. Puck drop at McMorran Place is scheduled for 7:05 p.m. Tickets are available online at phprowlers.com/tickets, by phone at 810-985-6166, or by scanning that QR code on your screen now. That's online at phprowlers.com/tickets, by phone at 810-985-6166, or scan that QR code on your screen now to experience Prowlers hockey live and in person, the way it was meant to be at McMorran Place. Second intermission underway here at the Annex, and it's the Prowlers with a 3-2 lead. We'll be right back on the PHP Network.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
Mac and cheese is up.
Mac and cheese pizza? Mac and cheese pizza.
That's right, the new mac and cheese pizza from Hungry Howie's. Mac and cheese, mozzarella, panko breadcrumbs, and our famous flavored crust. Only for a limited time.
Hungry
Howie's!
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
They're seriously not even that much better than you.
Should've just got a ticket from phprowlers.com.
I should have just bought tickets at phprowlers.com.
I got it!
I should have just got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
I should have got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
They should have just got tickets
at phprowlers.com.
We're back here at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex, where the Prowlers have a 3-2 lead over the Carolina Thunderbirds at the second intermission. Will Wiggleman with you on the PHP Network. Thanks so much for joining us tonight in Game 7 of the 7-game road trip for the Port Huron Prowlers that they are currently 3-2-1 on after 2 victories in Baton Rouge, 1 in Mississippi, and then of course, they fell the first 2 games of this series here in Winston-Salem. And surely they'll be happy to be home come Friday when they take on the Motor City Rockers, and then a kind of sort of home game. They don't have to go very far on Saturday when they face the Rockers again. And then, of course, they'll be home again 2 weeks from now, but we'll get a little more into all that when we see the upcoming schedule later in the intermission. But last night, Chris Pauling called the team's performance gritty. They had Tucker Scantlebury and Alex Johnson thrown out of the game for various reasons. Scantlebury in the second, Johnson at the end of the second period. Scantlebury was given a 2-game suspension beyond that, so he is not dressed tonight. And the Prowlers don't have anybody else to dress available on their roster. So they're just running a player short tonight. And it's going to take another gritty performance, and we've seen it here tonight. We saw in that final minute, Evan Foley and Dalton Young with a couple of big shot blocks as the Prowlers escaped the end of the period with that 3-2 lead. Alex Johnson did take the 4-minute double minor for high sticking late in the frame, and Dawson Baker got one back for Carolina on the power play. Baker has both goals for the Thunderbirds, and both of them coming on the man advantage. As they move into the third period, Prowlers looking to get their first victory here in Winston-Salem this season. Last year, they played 5 games here in Winston-Salem, and 3 games here in Winston-Salem, and they went to overtime twice in those 3 games, including the playoffs. And so far this weekend, they've gone to overtime one of the 2 matchups. So over the past couple of years, plenty of overtime here at the Annex between these teams. You even look back to last year's matchups between these teams at McMorran Place. They played twice in Port Huron and went to overtime one of those 2 games. So if you're betting on overtime, it's not a terrible bet. Prowlers hoping, though, that this score and this lead will hold up through the 20 minutes of the third period, and that they can get out of here with 3 points. And if they do, they can pick up 4 points on the weekend and move a little bit closer to Mississippi for third spot in the Continental Division. Well, the Prowlers and the Thunderbirds just about 10.5 minutes away from dropping the puck on the final period of regulation. And surely lots of exciting action and drama to come. So keep it here on the PHP Network. We'll be right back.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
Mac and cheese is up.
Mac and cheese pizza? Mac and cheese pizza.
That's right, the new mac and cheese pizza from Hungry Howie's. Mac and cheese, mozzarella, panko breadcrumbs, and our famous flavored crust. Only for a limited time.
Hungry
Howie's!
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
They're seriously not even that much better than you.
Should've just got a ticket from phprowlers.com.
I should have just bought tickets at phprowlers.com.
I got it!
I should have just got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
I should have got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
They should have just got tickets
at phprowlers.com.
Back here at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex, 3-2 Prowlers as we're just wrapping up the second intermission. As Port Huron is looking for its first victory of the weekend in its final game of a season-high 7-game road trip. Before we talk more about tonight's game, let's take a look around the FPHL. Just one other game on the docket, and they'll drop the puck in a little over an hour from now as the Motor City Rockers face the Watertown Wolves up in Watertown as the Rockers complete a little swing over in the New York, Connecticut area. So that is your only other game on this Sunday. Coming up for the Prowlers, they will be back home against those Motor City Rockers for a home and home on Friday. 7:05 p.m. start for that one. And then a 6:05 p.m. game on Saturday the 9th. Hopefully we'll be able to stream that one. We'll see if the internet is up and running as it's supposed to at Big Boy Arena on Saturday. And then the following week, the Prowlers and the Thunderbirds battle again, this time at McMorran Place. That will be the Christmas game for the Prowlers, the law enforcement torch run for Special Olympics game. And the Prowlers will be wearing these specialty uniforms for that game. You'll be able to bid on those. A live auction will be conducted after the game. So you have to be at the game to bid on the jerseys. And then they'll also be selling those pucks, which sold out last year, so get to the game early. If you want to pick up one of those pucks, they'll be selling them as soon as the doors open at 5 p.m. for the 6:05 start. So be sure to get there early, get your law enforcement torch run pucks, and bid on those special Prowlers Christmas uniforms that will be auctioned off after the game for the law enforcement torch run for Special Olympics. Turning our attention back to tonight's game, it's a 3-2 Prowlers lead. Carolina leading in the shots department, 21-16. And the power play goals have been prevalent for both sides. Carolina 2 for 3 on the man advantage. Prowlers are 1 for 2. Power play goal for Brandon Picard coming in the first. Dawson Baker has both power play goals for Carolina, both of them coming in the second period. Prowlers also matched it with a couple of goals in the second. Tristan Sim and Picard picked up his second. Picard has a goal, couple of goals, and an assist for a three-point night for him. Tias Tellstrom has a couple of assists, his first helpers as a member of the Port Huron Prowlers. And overall, it's been a tight game, and really the difference has been penalties, whether you like the calls or not. The penalties for the Prowlers continue to show back up here in Carolina. They've been a bit of an issue, bit of a talking point, certainly all weekend long when you look at the penalty minute totals for both sides throughout the weekend. And the number of power play goals that Carolina has been able to score has been a big part of their offense all weekend long. The Prowlers penalty kills played hard and had some success, but if you keep poking this Carolina power play, they'll eventually get some goals, and that is what has happened this weekend. Let's answer our PHP Network trivia question. If you need a reminder, the question was, before this weekend, when was the last time the Prowlers played a 3-3 where they were the designated road team in all 3 games? And that was an important part of the question. They're the designated road team. And the answer is actually here in Carolina, back on March 17th to the 19th of 2022. And for those of you yelling at me saying they played a 3-3 last year away from McMorran Place, that's true, they did. They played 1 game in Baton Rouge and 2 in Mississippi, but the Prowlers were the designated home team for that neutral site game in Baton Rouge. So that is why it was not the answer to the question. A little bit of a trick question today. Hopefully you all got it, or you learned a little something. Prowlers looking to get a little something done on this penalty kill. They have 1 minute and 1 second to kill off before Alex Johnson is scheduled to be released. And then they'll be able to play back at 5-on-5, where really they've been the better team tonight as well as last night. Ian Wallace getting set in the goal crease, 2 hour left, 19 saves on 21 shots. Frankie McClendon, his opposite, 2 hour right. He has made 13 saves on 16 Prowler shots. And Sam Merritt and Gus Ford are at center, and we are underway. Baker stops up as the Thunderbirds set up the power play. They touch it around the world. There's Panacek to Ford, but the pass missed. And Schumacher fanned on the clearing attempt. There's Baker. Out high. Now Pastuca. Down to Ford. Pastuca and Baker switch spots. Baker gets the puck. He shoots. Knocked down on the tip. And the rebound pushed wide by Panacek. There's a Prowler down in the slot. That's Brian Parsons. He's back to his feet. Now Baker, a shot, missed it to the short side. Final seconds ticking off Johnson's penalty. Here's Ford back in. His shot shouldered away by Wallace. Pops out to Baker again. He fires. Does Ford from the side of the cage. And Wallace makes the save. We're back to 5-on-5. And Schumacher will hold behind the net. Thunderbirds make a change, and the Prowlers' penalty kill survives. Still up by 1. Schumacher rims it around. And it gets through everybody all the way down. Icing waved off. Kennedy tried to go behind the net to Firth. Got through him. Nate Keeley couldn't dangle his way out. Now Firth with the puck over to Kennedy. Butita off the boards and in. Schnapp plays it back this side. Chartrand up the wall. Now Butita. Down and around it goes. Nate Keeley. Out to Kennedy. Firth wanted the one-timer, but it wasn't in his wheelhouse. Keeley again. Comes around, and Dalton Young's the first one on it. His pass to Decke skates. Kennedy stepped into that one. And he fired it over top of the cage. Now Firth, a soft wrist shot in on Wallace, who will make the glove save and hold on. With 17:35 left to go in the third period. First 4 shots of this final frame of regulation belonging to Carolina. Of course, 2 of them coming on the power play. Clay Keeley gets it deep. Dumas chases after it. Keeley again. Over to Farmer, backhands it, and it's scooped up by Wallace, who will hang on for a whistle. So we'll get another face-off deep in Prowler territory. Ford and Merritt, as they did to begin the period, will draw. Baker right behind Ford, but Merritt wins it back clean. Parsons, while going down, was tripped up, and he moved the puck. Prowlers are about to get a power play. And as they touch up, Gus Ford is heading to the penalty box, upset with himself. And the Prowlers' quality power play goes back to work, 1 for 2 tonight. A big opportunity for Port Huron to extend the lead back to 2, which it's been at 2 different times tonight. And off the face-off, they set up. Telstra fires a shot that's blocked by Kennedy. They hold it up against the wall. Pops out. Here's Telstra walking in with space, finds Johnson. Over to Picard. Back to Johnson. They continue to play catch. Picard tried to put it towards the net. Felder blocked it. Prowler's trying to regain possession, but comes to Nate Keeley, and he gets it out. Schnapp chasing after it. Johnson keeps it away. Lead pass on for Gaeta. He'll pull up, feed it high to Tellstrom. Now out to Johnson, walks in, finds Picard. His shot blocked away by Poclendon. And that's cleared into the Thunderbirds bench. So instead of going all the way down the ice, the Prowlers will get an offensive zone faceoff with 1 minute and 2 seconds to go on their power play. They switch up the unit. Sam Merritt leads his group out there. He'll draw with John Batista. DeCumbus feeds it down to Graham. Now out to Jay, who's able to block it at the point and keep it alive. Jay again on the near side. To DeCumbus. Back to Dalton Jay. They continue to play catch. Now Graham on the far side. Looking for the backdoor play. That was partially blocked. Prowlers recover. Jay down the wall. Looking for the pass across. That hit a stick, popped up in the air, and Batista knocks it down. He'll clear it down ice. 25 seconds left to go on the power play for the Prowlers. And they blew it dead. I think that was a mistake by the linesman who blew it dead for icing, but it shouldn't have been icing, so they'll drop the puck at center. So a bit of a mistake there on the linesman. 20 seconds left to go on the Prowlers power play as Gaeta touches it in. Kennedy plays it off the glass. Schumacher kicks it to keep it alive. Johnson over to Schumacher. Final seconds ticking off. Schumacher sent it through. It sticks to McClendon. He'll hang on for a whistle, and Chartrand drawing a little attention. And now Chartrand will go to the box for the second time tonight on another coincidental minor. He and Tucker Firth will take a seat. I guess after these last 2 nights, referees just trying to control things. They continue to take guys for coincidentals. Again, second time tonight. Ford scheduled to step out of the box in 4 seconds. Face-off won back by Panacek. Rimmed around in Pastuca's direction. We're back to 5-on-5. Clay Keeley skating it out. He's taken down, and Tristan Sim will go to the box. And just like that, from power play to penalty kill, the Prowlers will have to go back a man down. So Chartrain and Firth get 2 minutes for roughing each. That's tough for the Prowlers as Chartrain is one of their top penalty killers. Now Merritt is being kicked out of the face-off. So Evan Foley will come in to take it against Gus Ford. Hooking is the call against Sim. That gives the Thunderbirds another power play. Pastuca winds the one-timer. Didn't get all of it. Catches the glass and just comes out. Panacek walks back in. Takes a big shoulder from Schumacher. Johnson finds the puck, clears it the length of the sheet. 30 seconds gone on the penalty. There's Pastuca over to Panacek. Taken in hard to the wall by Parsons. Parsons and Panacek wrestling. Fans want a penalty. Here's Baker over to Ford. In and out of the glove of Wallace. Panacek again gives to Baker. His shot goes wide. He's looking for the short side. Baker again to Pastuca. Now Panacek. One-time blast blocked by traffic in front. Sits there in front of the crease and bounces over to the corner. 45 seconds left on the penalty. Baker up to Pastuca. Now Panacek. Pastuca again. Down low, it's blocked. And then Salak on the follow-up was right there, but he skied it. Ford. Out to Pastuca. Now Baker wanted the one-timer. Gives it off to Ford. Looking for the corner. Went about a foot high and a foot wide. Pastuca fell down. Here comes DeCumbus the other direction. Working on Baker. DeCumbus stops up. Pass to Foley was knocked away. That's going to take care of the Thunderbirds power play, though. 7 minutes gone in the third period. Here comes Ford. His shot steered away by Ian Wallace. Foley dumps it in. He'll chase after it. Schnapp plays it right into Foley. Farmer able to take it back, though, for Carolina. Nate Keeley just dumps it around. Butita behind the net. Prowlers dig away for it. Merritt rims it back the other direction. And it comes out to center. Farmer pulls up at the red line. And Johnson gives it away. Here's Schnapp. Stopped by Wallace. It sits there, and they score. Banged home by Jacob Schnapp as the puck sat in the crease, and the Thunderbirds have tied it up. The fans here weren't sure for a second, but it is in fact a good goal as Wallace made the original save, but the rebound sat there in the crease and Jacob Schnapp cleans it up to make it a 3-3 game. .12:10 to go in the third period. And have the Prowlers called their timeout? No, maybe. No, they'll send their guys out on the ice. Now they'll send Matthias Tellstrom back to the bench. As Port Huron is trying to get a late change through. And now Port Huron has been tied. Kennedy dumps it in. Young over to Tellstrom. Up the right wing side. Picard trying to move it around. Taken by Kennedy. Joe Kennedy flying out the other way. Kennedy gives it to the slot, looking for Dumas, and Parsons got his stick in it. Clay Keeley at the point. His shot off a stick. Prowlers turning it the other direction. Young sauces it on for Foley, fresh off the bench. And the Prowlers are going to get a too many men on the ice penalty. Thunderbirds to the power play when we come back. 11:22 to go in the third. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
I'm proud to serve farmers because everything they do matters.
If I could choose one word to describe a farmer, I would say essential.
Dedicated.
Enterprising.
The most creative people.
They're providing food for the rest of the world.
Some of the qualities I look for when hiring is personality, perseverance, someone that's determined. We want to be able to hire someone that understands what we're supporting, and ultimately that's the grower.
Come fill McMorran Place at every Prowlers home game this season. General admission tickets are just $15 with discounts available for seniors, military, students, and children under 12. Upgrade your experience in one of our suites, or bring the whole squad to the game with discounts for groups of 10 or more. Find your best option to visit the Thumb Coast professional hockey team by visiting phprowlers.com and find the tickets tab, or call the box office at 810-985-6166. Secure your seats today.
Carolina right back to the power play with 11:22 to go in the third. Shortly after the Thunderbirds were able to tie the game. They'll look to take the lead as Johnson backhands it. It was batted out by Foley. Baker settles. Gives on to Pastuca. Now Ford. Feeds it over to Pastuca. Pulls up. Across to Panacek. Pastuca again. Over to Baker, the one-timer. Didn't get all of it. And Wallace sliding across, able to glove it and hang on. It looks like there's an issue with the clock. They held it for a few extra seconds, so they're running some time off the clock here. Go down to 10:44 left in the third, 1:23 left on the Prowlers power play, or penalty kill. Just had to run some extra time off the clock, I guess. We're all set to go. Panacek over to Pastuca. Steps in, fires, and they score! Pastuca took the shot. Not sure if that hit anything else on the way through or after it hit Wallace. It looks like that Carolina has completed the comeback and taken a 4-3 lead. And what's turned out to be a bit of a theme for the Prowlers this season, leads slipping away. It happens again tonight. And now they'll have to find a goal in the final 10:34 of regulation. Brian Parsons trying to play it out. It comes to center. Firth rims it in. Now Nate Keeley taken into the boards by Deck. Sauced on in Firth's direction. Deck gets a stick on it. There's Schnapp at the point. Down to Keeley. Turnaround try. Gloved away by Wallace. And now Kennedy back at center. Deck back up. Long lead pass hit a couple of Thunderbirds. Pastuca trying to turn it the other direction. Now Deck. Up to Matt Graham. Tips it on. Kennedy sends it in. Took some big contact from Graham after he did. Salak gets to the middle of the ice. Puck poked off his stick by a number of Prowler defenders. The Merritt sent spinning to the ice. Firth's pass cut off by Young. Tecumseh chasing it down. Firth off the glass and out. Dalton Young. Taken off his stick by Salak. Salak taken into the wall by Johnson. Tecumseh gets the red line. Softly dumps it in. He'll go after it with Clay Keeley. Those two cancel out against the wall. Baker over to Farmer. Farmer drops it back to Baker again. Both teams in the midst of changes. 8:15 left to go in the third period. Alex Johnson looking for a pass tipped along by Picard. Will it have the legs for icing? No, it dies short of the line. So Firth curls back. Let it on towards Schnapp. Schumacher up to Picard. Lost the handle. Ford takes it back. Gets it up to Felder. Rims it around. Wallace partially stops it behind the net. Picard off the boards. And dumped back in by Nate Keeley. Schnapp. Cycling it for Keeley. He and Foley come together. Keeley comes out, backhander, knocked away by Wallace. Picard, that's the red line. Chips it by. Picard has a man in front, tried to get it there, but the puck just hopped on him at the last moment. Kennedy sent it around. Schnapp and Graham are tied up on the near side boards. Back in the Thunderbirds zone. Both of them back to their feet as it's dumped back in. Graham with a big hit on Jan Salak, taking him hard into the wall. Johnson gloves it down, looking for Tecumseh. Kennedy in Salak's direction. Sends it all the way out for Pastuca, one-on-one with Johnson. Pastuca forced back. His pass knocked down by Jay. The try on net ends up in the corner. We approach 6 minutes to go in regulation. Prowlers need a goal. As Firth gets it deep. Johnson pulling up on Salak. Jay out. Firth turns it around. And Parsons back in his own end. Lead feed again. Farmer collects in his own end. Dumas took some contact from Schumacher. Chartrand pulls it out of the pile, sent it towards the net, hit his own man Picard. Foley in front, knocked away by Ford. Baker looking to start a rush the other way. Schumacher turns it back. Picard tosses it in. Farmer up towards Dumas. Schumacher couldn't keep it in. Here's Ford with Baker on a 2-on-1. Ford feeds it over, and he scored. It's Dawson Baker for the hat trick. And the Thunderbirds have a 5-3 lead with 5:02 to go in the third. That puck just got away from Frank Schumacher at the Carolina blue line. And Gus Ford took advantage and got the pass over to Baker, who taps home his third of the game. The hat trick goal for Dawson Baker. And that's his 9th goal of the season. as a few hats litter the ice here at the Annex. And Brian Parsons is being sent to the dressing room. We'll let you know in just a few moments why that is. The Prowlers now trail by 2. Both teams gathering by their benches. And I believe the Prowlers have called their timeout as Chris Paulin and Matt Graham are going to draw something up. And Graham emphatically talking to his troops over on the Prowler bench as they announce the goal. Especially Baker from Ford and Felder. It gives the Thunderbirds the 2-goal lead. Baker has a 4-point night. Ford has 2 assists. And another lead slips away from the Port Huron Prowlers this season. They trail by 2 with 5:02 left to go in the third period. Merritt and Nate Keeley to slide into the faceoff. Just as soon as the timeout is officially over, and now we are set to go. Schnapp takes it away, cutting to the front, and Wallace got the goal stick out to take it off of Schnapp's stick. Keeley running to the wall by Johnson. Merritt and Butita battling. It's rimmed this side to Deck. Taken back by Keeley. Out high Felder. Wrists it around. Butita. Back this side. Now DeCumbus on it. Off the wall finds Gaeta. Gaeta dumps it in right on McClendon. He'll serve it up to Butita, who gave it right back to the Prowlers. Jay towards the net. McClendon down to make the save. Young back over to the near side. Felder in there along with Foley. Gaeta gets it out to Jay. Schumacher walks. And now he'll get it back down deep. Foley knocked down in front of the net. There will be a penalty. And Carolina will go to the box. We'll have a Prowlers power play when we come back. Port Huron down by 2, time ticking down. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
Mac and cheese is up.
Mac and cheese pizza? Mac and cheese pizza.
That's right, the new mac and cheese pizza from Hungry Howie's. Mac and cheese, mozzarella, panko breadcrumbs, and our famous flavored crust. Only for a limited time.
Hungry
Howie's!
So no power play for the Prowlers with 3:47 to go in regulation. Evan Foley has been given 2 for embellishment. That is the first embellishment penalty that has been given out all weekend. So we'll be 4-on-4 for 2 minutes. Prowlers send Ian Wallace to the bench to make it a 5-on-4 advantage. So empty net for the Prowlers. 3:47 to go in the third period. That one off the glass, and down to Prowler ice. Holding on Felder, embellishment on Foley. Schumacher brings it up the left wing side. Tried to feed it out in front, nobody home. That puck took a funny hop, drops right for Panachek, who's working in, and Dan Chartrand comes back to knock it off his stick. Chartrand has it now, trying to work through 3 Thunderbirds. 3 minutes to go in regulation. Pops out for Jay, deflected, and saved by McClendon. Sits there in the crease and cleared away. McClendon with a couple of saves on that one. First shot was deflected, and then a couple of stops on the rebound wax. McClendon plays it, glove down by Graham. As Jay puts his shoulder into Gus Ford. Alex Johnson with 2.5. Starts to rev up ice. Gives it to Sim. Looking for Graham, just out of his reach. Graham and Kennedy come in together. Now Ford looking for the empty net, and he hits the post. They blow it dead. I think they're calling icing because there's no goaltender in the net, and the puck didn't go through the blue paint. Well, icing is the call right now against Carolina. John Butita wants an explanation. Prowler still with a 5-on-4 advantage with 20 for the next 20 seconds, and then 6-on-5 with Wallace on the bench. Right now it's a 4-on-4 situation, again with the goaltender pulled. And the veteran coach Steve Harrison, in his first year as the Thunderbirds head coach, is getting an explanation over at his bench from referee William Lyons. The Prowlers are trying to say that Harrison is wasting time so his team gets some extra rest. And now they'll drop the puck. Off the face-off, it's iced again. So they'll do it again, deep in Thunderbird territory. Tied up on the wall. Comes to Johnson. Cross to Tellstrom. Back to Johnson. Finds Picard. His pass to Johnson forces him out of the zone. Foley and Felder step out of their penalty boxes, so we're back to 5-on-5, making a 6-on-5 advantage for the Prowlers with the goalie pulled. Johnson tried to wrist it through. It was taken away. Now Merritt behind the net, looking for Foley in front. Johnson at the point. Prowlers need 2. Minute 27 to go. Johnson wrists it on. That was knocked down and sent all the way down the ice for another icing. 1:19 up on the clock. Prowlers will send out 5 new skaters. They should have 6. And Matt Graham hops out to be number 6. And now Carolina has called its timeout. After 3 consecutive icings, the Thunderbirds will get a timeout, and some extra rest for their tired troops. Well, the Prowlers had a 3-1 lead in this game. They had a 2-0 lead in this game back in the second. After Brandon Picard made it 3-1 midway through the middle frame. Dawson Baker got a power play goal to make it 3-2. Then Schnapp scored here in the third. Pastuca on the power play gave Carolina the lead. And then just a few minutes ago, Baker got the hat trick goal. And that made it the 5-3 game it is right now. Matt Graham and Gus Ford will take this face-off with the empty cage at the other end. Firth around the boards. Schnapp gets there with Johnson, and Jacob Schnapp with another icing. And Gus Ford is pointing at something, I'm not sure what. Not sure what the Thunderbirds are complaining about there as Schnapp iced the puck. Merritt and Ford in on the face-off. They tie up there. Merritt finds it. Gets it out high to Picard. Over to Johnson. One-time shot through. Knocked down. Ford sends it the length of the ice and wide again. We're under a minute to play in regulation. 55.7 seconds up on the clock. I guess Carolina is just content to ice this puck into the end of the game. Comes to Graham. Now Ford takes it away. Picard had it hop over his stick. Schnapp chasing after it. Schnapp upends Picard. Puck hits somebody in the Carolina bench. And the faceoff will be just outside of the Prowlers zone with 43.6 seconds to go in the third. It's been a very long final few minutes of this game. We'll have another face-off as Jay skates into it, gives it off to Gaeta. Well, it's backhanded right back out by Salak. 30 seconds to go. Gaeta back for it. Looking for Picard. Just dumps it in. Farmer on it. Here's Picard winding and firing one from the point, gloved and held by Frankie McClendon. There's 17.2 up on the clock. So in all likelihood, it looks like the Prowlers have let this one slip away. Combination of penalties and turnover or two. Carolina's been able to capitalize tonight. It has been a high-scoring game, at least compared to the other two, the last two nights between these teams. Here's Baker. Couldn't get it out. Final 5 seconds ticking off. Foley out high looking for Schumacher. Baker sends it down the length of the ice. He'll miss the empty net, but it doesn't matter, as the Carolina Thunderbirds have defeated the Port Huron Prowlers by a final score of 5-3. Carolina continues its red-hot winning ways with their 7th victory in a row. And tonight they do it in comeback fashion. We do want to remind you to tune into our next broadcast on Friday, December the 8th, when the Prowlers are back home and they take on the Motor City Rockers at 7:05 p.m. Pregame show starts at 6:50. It's all right here on the PHP Network. Of course, if you can make it out to that game, definitely do welcome your Prowlers back home after a road trip in which they picked up points in 4 of 7 games, winning 3 of them. But tonight, not that night, as the Thunderbirds get a 5-3 comeback win. They outshoot the Prowlers 35-26 in the game, and 3 power play goals for Carolina. Really the big difference tonight. Frankie McClendon picks up the victory in his first game back in Carolina in his second stint as a member of the Thunderbirds. We'll give you the 3 stars of the game for tonight. Brandon Picard picks up the 3rd star with 2 goals and an assist. Peter Panacek, the 2nd star with 3 assists. And Dawson Baker with the hat trick and the assist. 4-point night for him. He is the 1st star of the night tonight. But the Prowlers swept here in Winston-Salem in the 3-game set against the Thunderbirds. And they will be happy to be back home, certainly. Although the weather's a little bit colder, it's nothing like home, and the Prowlers will finally get to drop the puck at McBoren Place for the first time in 3 weeks on Friday night. That's going to do it for me. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight on the PHP Network, and we hope to see you next time when the Prowlers face the Rockers. But for now, have a great rest of your Sunday evening. I will see you on Friday on the PHP Network.